Motivation is a perspective and it is driven by your internal identity. Welcome back to the Cosmic Valkyrie Podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Louise, Master Certified Hypnotist and the creator of the Evolution 10X Method. And today we're going to blow the lid off of one of the biggest myths in the self-development world, that motivation is something that you wait for. I'm going to dive right in. Everyone wants results, but most people are dabbling in their desires. They say that they're ready, that they want change, and even spend hours planning and journaling it out. But more often than not, I see people putting it off because they don't feel motivated. Have you ever opened your laptop, took a look at your to-do list, and instantly felt like all of the energy is drained from your body, like somebody pulled the plug? It's not because the tasks are impossible, but because your brain is trying to talk you out of it. Your brain is placing meaning in the actions, and it's making you believe that you don't feel like taking action. That is 100% perspective. That belief that you need to be motivated before you can act, all that is perspective. And that perspective is often the exact thing that is keeping you stuck. I'm talking science, not healing. According to Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist and professor at Stanford University, motivation isn't something that shows up first. It's something your brain creates once you get into motion, into action. His research has shown that motivation equals dopamine. So I want to break this down for you to make it really easy for you to understand. So you probably, like I had the impression that dopamine is released only as a reward, like a glass of wine after a busy day at work or a mani-pedi after having a difficult morning. That dopamine is released after the act. But dopamine is also released in anticipation of an act. I want you to really think about that. So by simply moving into the direction of the first step towards something meaningful can spark a dopamine release. What this means is you don't act because you're motivated. You become motivated because you act. And so if you're not taking action, it's not a motivation problem, it's an identity problem. Because your core identity drives your behaviors. And I'm going to give you an example. Have you ever heard yourself saying silently to yourself that you never follow through with things, or that you're not disciplined enough? Or one of my personal favorites that I used to tell myself all the time was that I was lazy. All these are untrue. And it's your subconscious being a bitch. But it's also doing its job because it doesn't want you to do anything that's unpredictable. But when we are operating from these type of internal stories, our brain is literally filtering our actions to stay consistent with these beliefs. Your subconscious will fight tooth and nail to make sure your behaviors match your internal identities, even if the identity is outdated and false. So the real work isn't about getting motivated. It's about becoming the kind of woman who doesn't need motivation to act. Again, you don't need motivation when you have an aligned identity. You don't need to feel like doing something when you've decided you are the person who will do it. And the one identity that is often overlooked that will actually change everything is committed. And I'm not talking about being committed to the hustle or perfectionism or even forcing something. I'm talking about being committed as an identity. This means being a woman that follows through even if things don't feel aligned, or always finishes what she starts and shows up no matter what type of mood she's in. And girl, you do this every day in your career. You do it for the company that you work for. So why don't you do it for yourself? Now, this is going to be important for you to understand. Commitment isn't about attaching to an outcome. It's about you attaching to the version of who would create the outcome. That's where the real power is, from within. The identity of being the woman that already has what she wants. So to break it down even more, to simplify this for you, identity drives your actions. Actions create a dopamine response. Dopamine builds momentum, and momentum reinforces the identity that keeps you moving forward to your goals. It's a loop that starts on the inside with you. You don't wait to become a successful version of yourself after you have success. You succeed because you already have decided you are the successful woman. Okay, here. Have you ever noticed that once you start a task, it gets easier to keep going? You might have told yourself along the way that this was so much easier than I built it up to be in my mind. I know I used to tell myself that all the time, and that's not random. That's by design. That was your attention shifting, your subconscious chatter being overridden by action. Your brain is releasing dopamine, rewarding you, telling you it wants more. So keep going. So I want you to stop looking for motivation, because you don't find it. You become motivation. I want to give you a few things that you can do immediately to get started today, to start shifting that identity. The first thing is that you need to declare that identity. Each morning, say to yourself out loud, I am the woman who follows through and committed to creating change even when it's uncomfortable. This is going to reinforce that subconscious identity and start your day out on the right foot, being able to take action even when things get hard. The second thing I want to mention is the 2-minute rule. This is about training your brain to reward movement, action. So you can't wait for motivation. We've already established that. You need to immediately choose one small task that makes the needle move in the direction that you desire. And you need to take it now, not later. You need to get into action right now. It can be as simple as a task that takes a couple of minutes, right? The 2-minute rule. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out process like putting together a podcast. It can be a simple, small action, and then you just keep going. This creates the momentum. So when you're looking at your to-do list, maybe pick some of the easier ones that take less time right at the get-go, that are easy for you to step into. And then the last one, but definitely not the least, is the value of post-action reflection. After you've completed something, pause for a moment. Feel it. Acknowledge that you created motivation. You moved, and now you feel the momentum. This is reinforcing that loop. And it will get easier and easier as you build the new identities and keep creating that momentum. So through this, that clarity, energy, motivation become your default state, replacing that overwhelm, stress, and struggle. Creating and manifesting your biggest vision isn't about waiting for the right mood or the right time. It's about becoming the version of you who doesn't need the right mood or alignment to move forward. Motivation is a perspective. And when you shift that lens, everything changes. So you don't need permission and you don't need to feel ready. And you definitely don't need to wait for it to feel aligned. You just need to remember who you are and act from that place. I want you to ask yourself, how many years are you willing to circle the same goal, getting the same failed results? Another year? Another 5 years? How many more to-do lists, planners, or voice memos are you going to make before you finally realize that they are not the answer to your success? It's not about adding another strategy, and willpower doesn't work. And quite honestly, you might not even need more clarity around your goal. What you need is to stop waiting to feel ready and start acting. Because let's be honest, there's a version of you who already shows up no matter what. She doesn't rely on the right mood or the perfect timing. She creates momentum from who she already is. But if you keep operating in other areas of your life out of alignment to what you want, meaning the one who hesitates, second guesses, and only moves when she is motivated, you're going to keep recreating the same unsuccessful results, becoming more and more frustrated. This is the moment to break that cycle and stop dabbling in your desires and start achieving them once and for all. And if you're ready to do that, not through pressure or hustle, but by actually rewiring the way you think, act, and follow through, then you're ready for Evolution 10X self-study, an experience that guides you through the exact method I use with my private clients to train your brain, rewrite your identity, and align your behaviors with your deepest power. No fluff, no overwhelm, just subconscious shifts that change everything. If you're listening to this and feeling the pull, knowing that you're done playing small, then this is your time. This is your moment to take action and finally do what it takes to create your dream life. You can head to the show notes and click on the link. It's thecosmicvalkyrie.com/impact. And you can join us today, because the motivation does not come before the action. And by enrolling today, you are becoming the woman that is already moving. And lastly, I have a favor to ask of you. If you found value in this episode, could you please leave a review, and a great one at that? Because by doing so, that increases the algorithms and it helps get this podcast into the hands of more people. And together, we can create more of a difference in this world. So in the meantime, stay bold, take action, and never, ever trade truth for comfort. Until next time. Thanks for listening to this entire podcast. If you love helping others, then please share this via your social media with friends and family. If you found value in it, they will too. Also, if you have questions, I'm here for you. You can email me questions to thecosmicvalkyrie@gmail.com. I might even use one of your questions on future podcast episodes. Also, I do have a personal request. I believe that we are all here to help each other heal, grow, and evolve. So let's help more people. If you would please, leave a nice review on iTunes. It will help the algorithms, and I would be forever grateful. And through your assistance, we could transform more lives.